I'm Brigantia of Blackbird of Blackbird's Brew. Happy Thursday and welcome to our Beltane video. This week we're talking about feasting. Besides the fun of the preparations and the decorating activities and the rituals, the Beltane Feast is an absolute highlight of the celebration, particularly if you're a good cook or you have the good fortune to be around good cooks. And this can be true whether we're celebrating on our own or with our own family or with other pagans more widely. Beltane is rapidly approaching. We are getting to the point where we are days away. The countdown begins. So I thought it'd be fun just to toss out a couple ideas. Maybe we can brainstorm some menu plans at Blackbird's Brew on Discord. And maybe some of us will even try something new this year, come back, tell the rest of us about it, and just continuing to add to just the textures and the layers of our Beltane celebrations. So the first idea I want to bring up is the idea of having tea with the gods. Because I am a solitary, it's a very normal thing for me to celebrate the spots all by myself, and recently I have gotten in the habit of preparing just a little tea party. Pouring a cup, making up a plate as an offering for the gods, and spending time in meditation or even just speaking out loud to the gods, almost as an informal prayer. It's actually a really nice way to mark the occasion, and it does keep me from feeling lonely because I'm with the gods, I am never alone. So if you're in a similar situation, this might be an option that is practical and helpful for you. So every good tea party has an assortment of the finger foods, the scones, and the cakes, and of course at least one good variety of tea. There's room for a lot of imagination, and it's easy to tailor your menu so that the foods correlate with the occasion if you're wanting to go to that little extra effort. Now, obviously, you would not need to prepare as much food for a tea party with the gods as you would if you were actually inviting some friends over for a tea party, but it's good to kind of consider what your options are. Some of the ideas I've been considering for Beltane are maybe a ham sandwich, cut in, cute little shapes. Just assume all of the sandwiches would be cut into cute little shapes. I really do like the ritual and the fun of a tea party. But maybe a ham sandwich or a cucumber with tzatziki sauce. That's really yummy. Or an egg salad sandwich with a little bit of dill sprinkled into the egg salad. Those are just three ideas. You can make little mini scones, and you can add anything to your scones. You could add fruit or nuts or chocolate chips if that was what you were wanting to do. You can also make some homemade mock Devonshire cream. It is much easier than what you think. And then have a fruity jam to also spread on the scones. Maybe make little mini Victoria sponge cakes. The ones you have the cute little spongy cakes and you have the strawberry creams in the middle. Maybe a little powdered sugar sprinkled on top. The mini versions are just adorable. And I was also thinking that for the tea, I might serve a mint green tea. That sounds really good to me, but we'll have to see. I'll make decisions once we get a little bit closer to the day. And of course, the nice thing is that anything that you don't eat in ritual or that you don't specifically set aside for the gods, this stuff can be easily saved and it can be eaten later, so there really is no waste. Now, if we are celebrating with our families, of course, preparing a special dinner would be a very nice touch for Beltane. And if you're lucky enough to have a pagan-centric family, it is worth going to a little bit of extra effort. There we go. For the spots. I had a weird pop-up just appear out of nowhere. That was weird. But moving along, if you decide to choose certain foods as part of your Beltane celebrations and you tend to, stick with that menu year after year, that's a really good way to establish a family tradition. Even if you're getting very creative in the kitchen, you might be starting to make your own family recipes. And then, of course, you can pass those down to your kids or nieces and nephews as time comes. And if you have kids and you're wanting to teach them how to cook, getting them involved with this kind of feast preparation, it might make them enjoy it more. They might be excited. They might decide that they want to learn more. And of course, that will be helpful to them in their day-to-day lives going forward in life. Now, of course, taking the temperature into account is important when you're creating a menu. If it's going to be 80 degrees on Beltane, you probably won't be in the mood for soup. And by contrast, if it's in the 50s, that's probably not salad weather. So just keep an eye on how things are developing and be prepared to adapt. One of the old traditions of Beltane was to light two bonfires and then you would drive your cattle between the fires and it promoted fertility. So, given that the cows already have this association with Beltane, you might consider beef as being your main course. You can make a roast, or you could do something super simple like grilling hamburgers. And for sides, if it's chilly, maybe a spicy vegetable soup, or if it's warm, you could always do a pasta salad. Dessert could be something like a fruit cobbler or oat cakes. In either case, adding a little bit of blackberry is a particularly yummy thing to do. Or if it's going to be very hot, you could do some ice cream with a homemade berry sauce on top. Not as hard as it sounds. They're very simple recipes. Some are, 3 ingredients, warm it on the stove, you're done, and you're good to go. Now, for drinks, the adults could be drinking mead, wine, special beers, anything of that sort. And then the kids could get to have lemonade or something of that kind. There's lots of options. And again, these are just a few ideas to get your own brainstorming started. Now, my third idea for Beltane Feast has to do with a community potluck. And this option would be probably the most practical thing for covens, organized circles, any larger community of pagans. Everyone just brings a little something. No one person is having to bear the entirety of the expense or the entirety of the commitment of time. That all gets shared around. And this can be a really fun way for people to show off dishes that they're especially good at making. And this could be something that people look forward to, especially if you get together with the same crowd year after year. This is another occasion in which it's sensible to make plans just in case the weather doesn't cooperate. Having a potluck in the open air is all well and good when the sun is shining, the wind isn't too strong, and the temperature is reasonable. But if it's cold, rainy, and gusty, it's helpful to have a plan B to fall back on. Many parks have shelters that can be rented or even larger buildings where you will be separated from the elements. If that's feasible and affordable for your group, it's probably good to have the option available just in case Mother Nature goes off her meds and just refuses to cooperate. Now, in the case of a community potluck, it probably isn't going to be practical or desirable to get too picky about a menu. You don't want it to turn into anything that people dread. So if you're wanting to emphasize the theme of Beltane, I would suggest not trying to do that so much through the foods as you would do it through activities, rituals, decorations, things of that kind. When you're trying to tell people what to cook, that can rub people the wrong way. I know that growing up, the church congregation I was raised in, potlucks were fairly often affair. People would do this would occur, a few times a year. And whenever someone tried to get kind of micromanaging, controlling, okay, you bring this, you bring that, we're doing this, we're not doing that. Well, it always, I heard a lot of grumbling from my female relatives. I'll put it that way. So, not getting too controlling. Word to the wise, probably the better way to go. But however you are choosing to celebrate Beltane this year, I hope you give some attention to the foods for your own enjoyment, to delight the gods, and just add a little something extra special to the occasion. And I would love to hear about what your plans are. Like I said, my plans aren't firmly fixed yet, so you never know. You might come have an idea that inspires me, in which case, well, I would just have to thank you. Maybe even in video form, so we'll have to see. In any case, you can leave your thoughts in the comments section below, or you can come see us on Discord at Blackbird's Brew. There is a link to join in the description box below, and I think that's it for now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.